Cool. So, welcome to Infinity Wrestling Talk. It's our first episode, trying out something new, and I think my name is Zubin and I'm joined by Horace Cates, and we're a part of Infinity Wrestling Club, and about to break down the second round of the NCAA championships and preview our quarterfinals for tomorrow. And we'll just get right into it and jump into 125-pound weight class. So, um, Lightning Luke, right? So doing what he does all season. He's into the quarterfinals. Didn't have any troubles at all going in there. Handled his opponent in the first and second round. But Dean Peterson is meeting him in the quarterfinals. He won both his matches. Um, I wouldn't say convincingly, but he was in control most of his matches, both of his matches, and so I think that it is an intriguing matchup. Dean Peterson's the only person to ever beat Luke Little in a duel match, so there's definitely a lot of intrigue into that match. What I do think is that Luke's going to take care of business. But since Dean is a Jersey boy, he used to represent Rutgers, which I love. So, I'm pulling for Dean just a little bit here.
Can he
But
be faster than lightning?
I mean, they used to call him the Road Runner, right? So I don't know. I mean, uh, I mean, he in the duel match, he definitely slowed down Luke a lot. And obviously that was last year. Luke's gotten a lot better. But what I do think is if he can avoid the takedowns and slow down the match, which based off his his first two matches in the tournament, yeah, I think that's what he's doing is slowing down the match and making when he's getting on top, he's you know riding riding on top pretty hard and just making sure that he's in control. And I think if he could do that to Luke, slow Luke down that way, wear him down, I definitely think he's got a shot.
Yeah, I still like Luke here though. I just don't think
Yeah,
Peterson's got enough for him.
no, I agree. I mean, I think it's more the jersey coming out of me that it's one Dean to win versus actual logical thinking.
So let's go ahead and hit Luke here. That'll be our first prediction.
Okay, sounds good there. All right, so Troy Spratley. Um, he came from behind, right? Vincent Robinson took him down first and hit a Jonesy tilt, right?
Yeah, that was a
So
sweet tilt for 7.
that was pretty awesome. Um, and he's been wrestling. I think he had a rough start to the year, but he's been really coming on strong in the second half of the year, and he's going up against Sheldon Seymour, and Sheldon Seymour is a solid wrestler. He keeps great position, and he's real stingy with points. So this is going to be a tough match either way. Um, I honestly think Seymour actually pulls it out. Even though I'm hoping Troy wins.
Yeah, well, I've got Seymour in a lot of my fantasy stuff, so I hope he wins, and I think he will.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have Spradley on my fantasy league, so I'm pulling for Spradley, but I think Seymour actually edges him out, which is going to make an interesting semifinal.
Yeah, this semi, if this happens, will be awesome. We'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so this is pretty awesome. So Jacob Moran, you know, he had like a up and down regular season, and he's coming in to the NCAA tournament, and he is killing it. I mean, I thought he had a pretty good Big Ten, and but he knocked off Nick Bouzakis, who some really thought was going to make the national tournament or national final. And so the fact that he's in there, he's wrestling tough, I think is a great story, especially for the 125-pound weight class. But he's gonna go up against Big Ten foe Jory Volk. And Volk had an awesome, Big Ten. He made it to the finals. He's wrestling pretty tough. Um, in my opinion, I think this is where Moran's Cinderella story comes to an end as far as making it to the national finals. Because I just think Joy Volk is, a proven wrestler, obviously, and he's already All American, and I think he actually takes it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I agree with that. I thought Buzakis looked vulnerable in his first match today, but I didn't know if that was just because he was coming off the scale.
Yeah,
But I still think he didn't really look like himself here. So although it's a great win for Moran, like you're talking about, I don't think he's ready for Jory Volk. But
yeah,
we'll see. That's what makes this tournament fun.
yeah, definitely. So, McGowan, um, you know, I really don't know much about McGowan, to be honest with you. I didn't really watch much of him this year, but he's running into Eddie Ventresca, the stingiest man on the planet. He's not gonna let him score. He's gonna he Ventresca's fine winning 1-0. He's fine winning 2-0. And so he's a hard matchup
Hey,
throughout
Ventress
this
got a
tournament.
takedown in both of his first two matches, which, I don't know where that came from, but
Yeah, it was definitely nice to see, him getting on the attack. But you know, when it comes down to when you gotta win, Ventresca finds a way. And so, it doesn't matter what he doesn't care about how he wins as long as he wins. And so, um, I think Ventresca wins that tomorrow's matchup. Um, but I don't really know much about McGowan. What about you?
so McGowan is like he's got a lot of talent, but his big thing is sometimes he just melts in big matches, doesn't show up. I think the most famous thing he's ever done is get stalled out by Lilidol. He
Oh,
just,
really?
yeah, just like didn't want to wrestle him. It didn't seem so. I mean, he looked good against Provo, but like you said, Ventresca is the stingiest dude in this bracket, and he will grit out a 1-0 victory and love it.
Yeah.
He's already scored about 20,000 more points than I thought he would this tournament. So he is looking good, and I like Ventresca, so I agree with you. I think he takes the win.
I mean, I think it's going to be an interesting matchup, especially on the top half or like top half of the bracket. But yeah, I mean, tomorrow's going to be a great day. I mean, this is the best part of the year for NCAA wrestling, and it's only just started.
Yeah, so I had gone ahead and filled out these brackets on this website. I'll link it in our description. And kind of just looking down here, do you see any matches that really stick out where people could be eliminated early? Uh,
Well, I mean, so Vincent Robinson's the returning national champ, right? So I don't think he's going to get eliminated there. But I mean, it's crazy that he's on the backside already. And then Uzakis, I don't know how he's going to do. Like you said, coming off the scale, right? He's cutting a lot of weight.
yep.
So, and Chapel's tough. He's not like he's a pushover. So that's going to be an interesting matchup. And so if he can't figure it out, I don't know. That's going to be a big hit for Ohio State in the team race.
Yeah, for sure. I,
Um,
I like this Pool and Tirakina matchup too. I think that could be interesting. Uh,
yeah.
Poolin probably still pulls it out, but yeah, some of these weights we'll see. There's some crazy constellation matchups. Not so much here yet, but I guess we'll go ahead and move on to 133.
Yep. Sounds good.
So 133, everyone this year has been talking about the freshmen at 133, and they just showed today why everyone's been talking about them. The top five, Jax, Kyle Larkin, Seidel, Blaze, and Davina are just all out there, just scoring points at will. They look almost untouchable. Um, so, everyone knows Jax's story. He was in high school to start the year, decided to come to Oklahoma State mid-season, uh, pulled the red shirt. Now he's just he bonused everybody except for Seidel, and he just not looking back. And I think that continues against Markel Baker tomorrow morning. Uh, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Baker stands a chance. Unfortunately, I mean, it's awesome that he's made it to the quarterfinals, but everybody else you mentioned is on another level.
Yeah, I think this is a 5-4. These five guys are at the top, and then the crazy part is we have the two national finalists from last year at 6 and 7, and they're almost like an afterthought in this weight. Um,
Yeah.
and the other quarter we got up here is Larkin Seidel. So Larkin actually had some trouble with Mugalian in the second round match. He ended up pulling it out. He's a magician out there, but I just don't think he's going to be able to keep up with Seidel's attack rate. Seidel gets in quick, he finishes quick, he's a hammer on top. I just don't think that Larkin's funk can overcome that, and I really hope it doesn't because I really want to see a rematch of Jackson Seidel because that was one of the matches of the season so far. So I think I got Seidel taking this one.
No, yeah, I definitely think you're right. I think Seidel is definitely on another level. I mean, don't get me wrong, Larkin's great, but I mean, even if you just go back to just like the Big 12 tournament, right? Forrest, what he 14 point, he had a victory over Larkin. It was a 14-point victory, right?
Yes.
So, I mean, there is levels to this, and I I believe Seidel's on a higher level than Larkin.
Yeah, I think like I said, everyone talks about the top five. I think Larkin is by far the fifth out of those, which he's still amazing. But those top four are just something else. Um, then we'll move down here to Blaze and Ayala. So,
This
you know,
this is an interesting matchup.
this is an interesting matchup, rematch. It's going to be great. Blaze, we were talking about Ventresca being stingy. I think Blaze might be even stingier, honestly. We've talked this year about how this dude just holds like the best position possible all match. He doesn't like to give up any points, and he's really been opening up his offense today, and hopefully that continues tomorrow. Uh, and Ayala, everyone's kind of caught on to all these freshmen at least have caught on to his offense. He's had a rough year, but it just seems like I think Blaze is just getting better and better every single match. He takes another step, and I just don't think Ayala can pull it off here. So I've got Blaze moving on to the semis.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there. I mean, I think Drake's wrestling and like he wrestles awesome in this tournament, and there's definitely something to say to that. But I just think Blaze it will just keep too good of a position, and his tactical wrestling ability is just gonna out wrestle Ayala.
Yeah, I don't see Ayala ever beating Blaze again, to be honest.
Yeah,
And then we move down to the last quarter. We got Bird versus Davino, and again, it's kind of the same story. I mean, Bird won, of course, the returning national champion. He was undefeated heading into Big Tens, lost the two matches there. Um, Davino has just been plowing through everyone this year. His offense, he might be the most offensive of these four guys, which is saying a lot. And he just same story. He gets in, he finishes so cleanly. His attack rate is off the charts. I just think he's got too much offense. And he's going to overwhelm Bird. He'll probably have a hard time breaking through the defense, would be my guess. But once he finds the way through, I just don't think there's that Bird is dynamic enough to keep up and match him. So I think it's going to be Davino here, and then sets up the big four in the semis.
yeah, and I mean, everyone's honestly hoping for this. I would say majority of people, that are besides the people that are from the specific schools, majority of wrestling viewers are hoping for this for the semi. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And then moving down here, Tyler Knox and Fugit, one of them is going to be eliminated tomorrow morning. That's going to be
Yeah,
probably a good match.
two All Americans going at it in the morning. That's rough.
Yeah, I mean, I think people forget how good Knox was because Davino just tore him apart today. Seidel tore him apart in the ACC finals. Again, he's a great wrestler. Just these four are on such a different level. And then
Yeah.
Serrano Leet, which honestly I don't know much about Leet, but 9 and 10 seed me in the second round of the consies is something. So one of those guys is going to be eliminated first round tomorrow as well. So this bracket, I think it's kind of obviously it's chalk. We've got in the semis it's 1 through 8 right now, and I think it will continue like that. Or I'm sorry, in the quarters it's 1 through 8. I think it will continue 1 through 4 in the semis, but should be some interesting stuff on the backside.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, and we've talked about this before. Obviously, a former Rucker. If I love Rutgers, but if Bobber's already out, I mean, he had a bad year this year, in my opinion. But prior All American, and he couldn't even win a match in this weight class this year.
That's very true. Yeah, him going 2 and out is saying something. Of course, he got leet in his first wrestle back there. He had a bad draw with Bird into the loser of Leet Brown, but that's just what this 133 weight class has been. It's just full of killers. So
Yeah.
it's definitely, in my opinion, the best weight at this tournament.
Yeah, hands down, I agree.
Let's move on to 141.
And 141, man, Jesse Mendez is man. If I've never seen someone come for that Hodge Trophy so hard before than Jesse Mendez. I mean, we talk about how great Messenbrink is and how untouchable he is. I mean, this year Jesse Mendez has proved how untouchable he is.
Mic off.
He is by far the best wrestler at this weight
Mic
class.
on.
Um, and so I mean, he's got a match with Von Bar tomorrow. Um, I mean, he's walked through his first two opponents. I'm pretty sure he's gonna walk through Von Bar. I mean, I know Von Bar is tough, and it's not like he's a scrub, but Mendez is just on another level.
Yeah, I agree. Von Bauer, he is tough. He's got a great attack rate, but Mendez is just looking like a man possessed. So
Yeah,
I agree with that. He's probably one of the most sure things at this tournament, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah. So Luke Stanich, Anthony Enchimdia. So this is gonna be a really good match. Two really skilled wrestlers, different styles. I think it's it's gonna be exciting. Um, and in my opinion, I think Luke is gonna pull off the minor upset. I don't really think it's an upset, to be honest with you. Luke's the fifth seed because he didn't wrestle all year. I honestly think he would be a higher seed had he been healthy from the beginning, and he's wrestled all year. I think he's proven himself, on the world circuit, and definitely going to be Luke tomorrow, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I just think Mendia isn't gonna have he's not gonna have that easy of a time taking him down, and he's gonna really need to win the takedown battle. Stanish is really good on the mat, so I think Stanish will take that. So it'll set up Mendez Stanish in the semis.
Which is really exciting, because they haven't met, at least definitely not this year. I'd have to check if they've met previously in the past, but I was pretty sure they were at different weights. Um,
Yeah, they were because
so
Stanish was at what
33,
33.
right?
Yep,
Yeah,
and so yeah, they've been at different weights, and it'll. I still don't think he has enough for Jesse, but should be interesting because it's a new match that we haven't seen
yeah, for sure.
before.
Yeah. All right, so the bottom half, Brock Hardy, man. So man, Braden Davis took down Brock Hardy first again,
Yeah, Brock Hardy
and
just likes to let him take him down and then beat him, so he makes him really mad. I think. I don't know.
yeah, I think he's just looking to get a team point out of him.
At least he didn't pat him
Um,
on the belly this time.
yeah, but I mean, Brock Hardy's a solid wrestler. I mean, honestly, I love watching him wrestle. I like the way he goes after it. he wrestles through positions better than most of the wrestlers at the NCAA's. So he's wrestling Vince Cornella, right? And I I don't think Cornell has enough for Hardy. I personally think it's going to be Hardy in the semifinals. He, I mean, it's. I've never seen them wrestle before. I'm not sure if they have, but I just think Hardy wrestles through positions better than most, and I think he's my pick to go to the semis tomorrow.
Yeah, I like that as well. I think Brock Hardy definitely is gonna get through Cornella. He's just so experienced, and like you said, he wrestles through every position so well. Probably definitely one of the top 10 guys in the country at any weight wrestling through positions. Um, so I think, yeah, I agree with you. He'll get pushed through to the semis.
Yeah, which sets up his other side, right? Nasir Bailey has been a different person these last few weeks, wrestling wise. I think the beginning of the season he looked terrible. I think he's been wrestling really well, which I've been really impressed watching him wrestle. Um, but I still don't think he's any match for Sergio Vega. Vega gets it done. He still hasn't gotten taken down all year. And that just shows you how skilled Vega is as a freshman. Still hasn't been taken down all year. That is impressive. And Vega hasn't ducked anybody, right? He's wrestled every match, and he's wrestled some tough kids. He's wrestled Hardy. So we talked about how Hardy wrestles through positions. Vega is a freshman, and I think he might wrestle better through positions than Hardy. And he's so solid, and that's going to be a good rematch from the national duels, and I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, uh, Vega is just so composed.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think he might have a deal with the devil or something to where he can't get taken down because he looks. I mean, against DeCraker today in the first round, I thought it was a close match. I don't know if it was, actually something getting to Vega in the national tournament, his first match as a freshman, but he just didn't quite look like himself. And DeCraker was in on a shot deep, and then all of a sudden Vega's on top, and it's that happens all the time. It's insane. I mean, even when he wrestled Bailey earlier this year, Bailey looked like he was in, gonna get that match-winning takedown. He had his leg up in there on that single leg, and Vega just found a way and got the takedown instead. And that was quite a while ago. And, I think the trajectory of these freshmen is really something that's insane because they're all improving so fast. They were already good and they're just getting better and better and better. So, yeah, I agree with you. I don't think Bailey has a chance against Vega tomorrow.
Yeah, man. I mean, the Magic Man knows what he's doing, right? So, he's the new best thing,
Yeah,
and so
he's definitely got some magic with Sergio and his takedown defense because it is crazy.
yeah. So the Conti side, let's see. There's a lot of interesting matches here. Joey Oliveri has a tough match tomorrow. I'm always gonna mention my Rutgers guys. So, um, he had a weird season. Started the season off undefeated and had some team issues and had an okay Big Ten tournament. Lost his first match here, which was which was to me was an ugly match. But I don't know. I'm hoping for him to pull it out. Ryan Jack, Elijah Griffin. That's an interesting match. A lot of that's um, it's a was it 15, 16?
Yeah.
Um, So I think, there could be some sparks there. Um, Composto and Simcox, right? I I think that could be an interesting match. Um, I mean, I don't think Braden Davis will pack it in, but if Titus gets up, I think Davis will pack his bags. So it'd be really interesting because Penn State needs Davis to, keep going
Get some
to
points
break
to
the
break that record.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, to break that record. So, but if Titus, I think he just has to put some pressure on Davis, and Davis will break. He's for whatever reason, he just doesn't seem like himself this year. At least last year, he was a little bit more assertive. He wasn't as wild. Like he seemed more composed this year. I don't know. Maybe it's just the mid season. Like he had to get put into the lineup, and I'm not sure if he really wants to be there right now. But he does not look good.
No, he doesn't. And it is insane down here that you've got Griffin Jack and Oliveri and these guys. Only one of these guys will make the blood round just to wrestle at Jamindia. So
Right.
you're seeing, there's going to be a ton of guys that are pretty highly ranked, highly touted guys that aren't going to make it very far in this tournament. So shows you the depth.
Yeah. This is definitely a good wait. Should be tomorrow morning's gonna be a really fun morning.
We'll move to 149. So up here, this bracket's gone a little crazy. Not
Yeah.
too crazy, but definitely a little bit. So obviously I'm a ACC guy, and Biskins and Guy losing here hurts a little bit. But we'll start up top. Got Van Ness versus Swiderski. I don't know what it is about Van Ness, but he just seems to love losing at the national championship. So I actually think Swiderski is gonna get him tomorrow. Van Ness
Oh
hasn't,
wow.
and
You
I
think in the
know
quarters,
it's
huh?
a little crazy. He hasn't looked like today. He looked amazing. Don't let me get that
Yeah.
twisted. He looked great today. But at Big Tens, he was giving up some takedowns early to guys. When he wrestled Carter Young earlier this year, he got down big and had to come back. And I think Swiderski is just the right type of like gritty wrestler where if he concedes a couple early takedowns like that, it's a long, long road, and I don't know if he's going to be able to travel that road. So
Yeah.
might be a little crazy, but I'm going to put Swiderski in the semis.
Wow. Wow. What a bold pick. I like it. I think it's cool. Like I mean, I agree with you. Van Ness has some up and down, and he just doesn't always just bring it to the national tournament. So, hey, man, what a bold pick. I like it.
And then down here we got Carter Young and Chance Lamer again, like I was saying with the ACC finals. Both of them, both the finalists going down in the second round, created Chance Lamer's on a run. He's kind of got that Cinderella story going, beat Zargo, then beat Guy. But it looks like Carter Young is finally putting everything together. When he first got into college and he beat Seth Gross at a
Mhm.
freestyle senior tournament in the summer before he came to college, everyone was like, "Man, this guy's going to be the next big thing," and he just never really seemed to get there. Like he had these little glimpses of what he could be, but he just never seemed to get there. And I guess I don't know, maybe moving to Maryland was the change he needed because he has looked like what we thought we were getting back then at this tournament today and this year, to be honest. So I think I'm going to take Young over Lamer here. Lamer's Cinderella story will have to continue on the backside.
Yeah, I agree. I think Carter Young is wrestling absolutely out of his mind right now. Like um, definitely to the way that we all thought he was gonna wrestle. So yeah, I like that pick. I'm picking Carter Young for tomorrow too. So definitely a good pick.
Move down to the bottom side. So this is this guy, Lachlan McNeil. He has been my dark horse pick. I think I'm not alone in that. I've heard a lot of people say that when they took a look at his draw and they just thought, it's like, hey man, this guy is returning AA. He did some great things at UNC and then moved to Michigan. He had a pretty good draw for being an 11 seed, and so far that's been true. handled Rivera, got past Tyus last round, and Wasilewski had kind of a shaker with Rachin last round. So I think I think Lachlan McNeil is just solid all around. He's not the most flashy guy out there, but he's pretty good in the scrambles. Has a pretty nice double leg. I've seen him hit a couple times today. So I think he fires one of those off and then just entangles Wasilewski in all those scrambles and the rest of the match. And I think he gets the decision here and moves to the semis.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. I think McNeil could definitely goes to the semis. You know, it's something about those transfers that go to Michigan. They just, I mean, don't get me wrong, McNeil's been an All-American multiple times already, but when those transfers go to Michigan and they step it up a notch.
Yeah, and he's stepping it up at the right time.
Yep.
And then down here, the last quarter we'll have tomorrow, Aiden Valencia and Jackson Joy. You know, Jackson Joy, another one of those amazing freshmen. It just seems like this year is full of amazing freshmen. Um, I think Aiden Valencia, I liked his path. I like him as a wrestler, but I just don't think he can handle Jackson Joy. Jackson Joy's got great scrambling. When he gets on top, he does some amazing stuff. You know, he had that clip earlier this year from getting that cradle from the chicken wing that everyone went crazy about for good reason because he's just so crafty on top. So I think he's going to take this one, push through to meet Lachlan in the semis, which will create an interesting matchup of, probably one of the most veteran guys versus one of the up and comers.
Yeah, I totally agree with you there. I think Jackson Joy's wrestling phenomenal. I think Coach Gray at Cornell is having him be ready for the moment, and having Yanni there also helps. And so I think he's definitely primed to be in the semis tomorrow.
Yeah, if you want to get good at scrambling, Yanni's probably a pretty good guy to work out with.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
and then we move down to the consies. Not any crazy matchups in the first round of consies tomorrow. Um, we will see possibly an ACC finals rematch here if Guy and Biskins both do their job and push through as you would expect them to. But otherwise, this weight's not really as crazy as any of the others. It's kind of going as would be expected, except in a few places.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't think anything crazy in the first the round wrestlebacks tomorrow morning, but that second round should be really interesting.
We got to give a shout out to Caden Cassidy for beating Zargo, though. Caden Cassidy is from Virginia, so
Okay, nice. I
George
like it.
Mason.
Sweet, nice.
Move on to 57.
57, PJ Duke. And another, this is like the year of the freshman, right? So, PJ Duke, phenomenal. Made made a statement, on the world team, beating Yanni and, wrestling at the worlds. Um, and he's ever since then he's been awesome wrestling at Penn State. And his only loss is to Antrell Taylor during the duel, but then he got it back in the finals of the Big Ten. So
With a
um,
major,
Bran-
so in a big way.
with a major, yeah, definitely. Brandon Cannon, everyone had him at number one before he got injured. So I mean, he's looked decent throughout the first two rounds of this tournament, but I don't think he's healthy enough for PJ Duke. And I'm gonna go with PJ Duke. I think if Brandon Cannon was healthier, it'd be a much more interesting matchup. But I still think PJ Duke beats him.
Yeah, I second that. I think PJ Duke is just on another level. He, like you said, he did lose to Antro Taylor earlier this year, but he majored him in the Big Ten finals. I mean, that's the returning national champ. So I think he's just, again, one of these freshmen that was already good, and he's just jumped levels every single match. He gets better and better. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he bonuses Cannon.
Yeah. Well, then our next matchup of the quarters is a Big 12 final rematch, right? Robidoux and Larkin.
Yep.
Um, I personally think Larkin does it again. It'd be interesting to see what Robidoux does in the rematch, see what changes he implements. But I honestly think Larkin's um, is a you know the heavier Larkin is even better than the younger, the lighter Larkin. So I think Caleb is very skilled. I love that he dyed his hair for this tournament. He got like he's getting psyched, he's getting ready, and so he dyed his hair. I'm pretty sure it's like some kind of purple or pink, but
It's
probably
like
an
polka
ASU color.
dots, I think.
But I think he's gonna kill it. I mean, I think he definitely beats Ravdu hands down. Other people might have different opinions, but I think it's gonna be a repeat of the Big 12 finals.
Yeah, I'm pretty much of the. I think that's like almost a coin flip match. Sounds like you're a little more higher on Larkin than I am, but I could definitely see him win again. The crazy thing about Robidoux is they always talk about his takedown record in high school, getting like 600 takedowns in a season or something. I still don't know how
Oh
you
wow.
do that, but I apparently he did. So,
Yeah,
but no, I think that should be a good match. Robidoux is another one of those freshmen who just keeps getting better. It's crazy.
yeah. So the bottom half's really interesting, right? Meyer Shapiro, Ty Waters. Ty Waters was ranked number one, I believe, in the preseason,
Yep.
and for at least a good while, there was the beginning of the season. So he's nothing to joke about, right? I think he's definitely a solid wrestler. Um, um, does he beat Shapiro? I'm not really big on Shapiro. I and so this is gonna be where I pick an upset, right? I think Ty Waters edges out Shapiro.
Ooh, all right.
Um, and I think Ty Waters is wrestling really well. And right now in these first two rounds, and don't get me wrong, I think Shapiro's a great wrestler, but I personally think this is where he gets his signature win of the tournament.
Yeah, no, I
And then
like it.
yeah. So yeah, so then the second match
You
of the
know that
bottom, or
that Shapiro pick is kind of reminiscent of my Van Ness pick because Shapiro kind of seems to like to come to the tournament highly ranked and lose at some point too. So
yeah, no, I agree. I mean, what was it like last year? I don't. Who did he lose to last year? And he ended up having to wrestle with Taysack in the backside in the third place match. But he lost to somebody last year, and I was like, what is he doing?
yeah, I'm trying
Was
to
it Blaze?
remember. Yes, it might have been Blaze.
No, Blaze. No, Blaze beat. No, he lost to Taylor, right? He lost to Taylor
Let's
because
see.
Blaze beat Taysack.
Yeah, that sounds right. I'm
Yeah,
trying to find it now. Let's see. Where did he lose last year? Yes, he lost to Taylor in the semis.
yeah.
7-2.
So yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong, Taylor's great, and he won the national title last year. So I just, Shapiro just finds a way to mess it, get in his own way.
Yeah.
So I think Waters comes in and he just continues having a great tournament. To the bottom half. So here's an interesting matchup, right? Kenny Webster, Antrell Taylor. Kenny Webster's wrestling really well. Antrell Taylor, very stingy. Um, he's definitely had a better second half of the season. Um, I mean, I think in his mind, I think that Big Ten Finals was a fluke for him, right? He didn't wrestle his match, and because I think he wrestled his match against Duke in a duel. So I could honestly see Webster winning just a little bit, but I'm gonna go with Antrell Taylor. proven wrestler, national champion returning, and but I just think Taylor is very solid in his positions, and he's stingy, and he's a returning champ, so you got to give it to him.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think he had a bad national duels, and then he won everything up until the Big Ten finals. And again, I think we'll end up seeing a rematch of the Big Ten finals in the finals. But again, we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Yeah. So as far as the wrestlebacks, I think Airborne Sens sorry, yeah, Swenson, sorry. Um, Interesting matchup there. Vinny Zerb and Drew Swisher. Another good matchup. You know what I mean? So, um, one of those guys are not gonna make it. What Drew Swisher was what the sixth seed?
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, Coach Valenti at Penn. I think he's gotten. Uh, I'm pretty sure Swisher beat. Was it? Did he beat Shapiro in the
He did
Ivy League
in
final?
the yep in
Yeah.
the finals.
So I mean, he definitely has what it takes. So and Vinny Zervin, he's a tough wrestler. So that's gonna be a good matchup. As far as early matchup in the consies tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, and I don't think anything else. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. It's just crazy at this tournament when you see these second round consolation matchups with these two guys who there are probably people out there who had both of these guys either in blood round or placing at this tournament All American. So it's just crazy when you see matchups like that or so early.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's move on to
Yeah,
65. Honestly, I think
guaranteed.
65. Yeah, we could just say Messenbrink and nothing else really matters. But we'll go through it real quick. So obviously, Messenbrink, yes, over Hepner. Um, he's just he's just on another level altogether. I mean, the real amazing thing about him is that he just goes out there and it looks like he just takes like doesn't even set up his shot sometimes, just dives in because he just knows that he's going to win wrestling positions and he just wants to wrestle. So he is definitely about as sure of a thing as you can get here. Obviously, 100% bonus rate on the season. He did only major Gallagher, which it's funny with Messenbrink almost when someone holds him to a major, that's almost as surprising as someone else
Yeah.
getting beat. But I'm sure he'll continue his bonus ways against Hepner tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. I guess it starts at 12. So yeah, not much more to say about that. You got any thoughts?
No, I mean, I definitely agree. I think Messon Brink's a lock. He wrestles a great first two rounds. I have him in one of my leagues, but Messenbrink is, like you said, whole nother level. I think I think you said it best. The fact that he majored somebody was more of a surprise
Yeah,
than anything else.
yeah.
So
So it's he's a different guy now. Talking about surprises, Alvin beating Lockett. That was, I don't
yes,
think a lot of people had that one penciled in. Uh, most people, myself included, probably had Lockett here against Ruiz, maybe even making it here into the semis. Again, one of these amazing freshmen who's just keep getting better and better. David Taylor's really got an amazing group of young guys at Oklahoma State. But I think tomorrow, Alvin, when he runs into Nico Ruiz, I don't think he's gonna have much Ruiz. Honestly, I don't know much about Alvin. Just watching him wrestle Lockett, he was really good defensively. Lockett got into some attacks, and he was just doing a good job at fending them off, uh, getting to his defensive positions, and then ended up, gritting it out in the end. But I think Ruiz, uh, he is a little more offensive than Lockett. I think a lot of people's knock on Lockett is that he likes to wrestle really close matches. Ruiz not so much. So I think just again another one of these matches where I think the offense attack rate will overwhelm the defensive prowess of Alvin. So I've got Ruiz moving on here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Lockett stopped wrestling at that in that match against Alvin. I definitely hurt him. But no credit to Alvin, right? Definitely wrestling out of his mind, being highly ranked wrestler. But yeah, I think Ruiz gets him tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon.
Then we move down here to Parco Caliendo. Parco, Stanford as a whole has been wrestling amazing at this tournament.
Yeah, for sure.
They definitely came in ready, and Parco, beats the 6 seed in Arujo, and then beats Downey, the 11 seed, both really tough wrestlers. But they're not Michael Caliendo. So
Yeah,
I think when he runs into Caliendo tomorrow, I think everyone has penciled this in as this one's like a top three: Caliendo, Blaze, and Messenbrink, of course. And so I think this is a foregone conclusion. Probably going to be bonus, and I expect Caliendo to push through.
yeah. Caliendo's had a rough beginning to the season, but he's on a mission right now. Like, obviously, Messenbrink's won, but Caliendo's trying to prove that there's nobody else better besides Messenbrink than him.
Yeah, and it the way he's been wrestling, it's hard to argue with that fact. I would
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see this rematch in the semis because Blaze versus Denny. I'm taking Blaze here. Kind of again the same thing. Everyone's had it. Messenbrink versus the winner of Caliendo and Blaze. That's going to be the final. So I think Blaze, he's just solid everywhere. He beat Caliendo this year. A lot of people didn't think he was on that level. He beat K-Sac a couple years ago, or last year. So he he does really, he rises to the occasion, and I think that continues tomorrow. I think he'll take out Denny. Denny had a wild match with Brignola. They were just like trading takedowns back and forth. Brignola had a crazy
yeah,
tournament against Lillard. I don't even know how he made it through that match. It looked like Lillard took him down twice in overtime, but both were overturned and he won. So, but yeah, I've got Blaze pushing through here and setting up this rematch, Blaze and Caliendo.
yeah, for sure. I think Blaze wins. I mean, it's been fun watching Denny. Um, but I mean, unless Blaze has a lapse moment like he did in the Big Ten, I don't see him losing, and I'm pretty sure he's pretty focused. Coaches out at Purdue, they got him focused and ready, and it's going to be exciting to watch him and Caliendo go at it again.
Oh yeah, for sure. Move down here. We'll just look. This was one of them that I looked at earlier, and I was like, "Holy cow!" Because here, Lockett
Yeah,
and
Rougeau,
Arujo,
yeah,
Arujo
yeah,
meeting in this like one of these two guys. I would almost guarantee that everyone had these two All American this year. So now one of them is going to be uh, out in the second round of the Consies at this tournament. So again,
yeah. That
just
is wild.
crazy how the brackets fall. Sometimes you get two upsets, different rounds, cross bracketing makes it the five run into the six in the second round. So that's going to be should be a fun match too. They're wrestling like their lives are on the line because they are. So
Yeah,
otherwise, most of these are again kind of standard for, of course, Brignola and Bianchi being down here this early is a little strange. Um, but I think we'll have some good matches down here, highlighted by that one.
yeah, I agree. I think that match tomorrow, yeah, that early in the contests is that's a placement match for sure.
Yeah. So let's move on to 74.
My man Levi. You talk about like the wrestler that you want on the team. I think that's Levi, man. I think he does everything right. He doesn't talk about. anything crazy. He's like Harrison for us. You know what I mean? So, um, but Levi, he's solid. There's nothing you can say about it. Been solid all year. It's really his weight class to lose. I don't think he's going to. He definitely has a tough matchup with Montanona. He's definitely a tough wrestler. I think he held Levi to a decision in the duel.
Yes.
If so, you know, he's scrappy, but I just don't think anyone's gonna stop Levi this year. So I'm gonna pick Levi to go to the semis.
Yeah, I agree for sure. I will say that like Bo Mantanona is one of my favorite dudes to watch wrestle. Michigan 65, 74, and 84, where they've got Catrabone and then both the Mantanonas. All three of those dudes are just like they want to scrap. And I bet they have some awesome rounds in the practice room. I kind of want to go watch a Michigan practice just to see it.
Yeah, I agree. Like the brothers are awesome. I love watching them wrestle. And then yeah, you're right. Contrabone's another good one. Man, so this is like you know, this is gonna be a dog fight. Kennedy versus Karchla. Um, there's something about um Patrick Kennedy to me that he's a dog, right? Like he just keeps going, right? They call him that I think what the announcers called him Diesel, right?
Yeah,
They
they
put
kept saying
diesel
he was
fuel
like
on
a
him.
diesel truck, old
Yeah,
Chevy.
yeah. So I'm actually gonna pick Kennedy to beat Karshla. Um, and it's nothing against Karshla. I think he's great, right? I think he's wrestling solid, but Iowa has their whole team wrestling pretty solid this tournament. I mean, if you asked anybody if they thought Iowa was going to be number two after day after day one, I don't think anyone would have said anything. So I'm gonna go with Kennedy. I mean, what do you think?
This is another one where it's almost like a coin flip to me. These guys they've gone back and forth because I can't remember how many times they've met, but I know each of them has at least beaten the other one once.
Yeah,
They just always go back and forth, and they're both kind of that like, I would if Kennedy's an old Chevy, I think Harshal might be like an old Ford. They're both really kind of the same archetype of wrestler, and they gritty. They just do what they need to do to win, find a way. Neither one of them is super flashy, but they're
right.
just gonna like wrestle you hard for 7 minutes.
Yeah, they're gonna scrap that for sure. But that's gonna be a good match. All right, Minto Gaitan, right? Um, so I personally think this is gonna be a very interesting match, right? Just the way both those guys wrestle. I have Minto edging out Gaitan. But I wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way. You know what I mean? I think Minto's the better wrestler, but out of nowhere, Gaitan um does some stuff that I'm just like, wow. I mean, I wasn't expecting that from him. So, like what you said, a toss up from that last match. I honestly could put a coin flip on this as well.
Yeah, Gaitan is, he's had ups and downs. I remember he said something last year. He had some big ones last year, and he said it was because the Flow guys had said something that he didn't like about how he didn't have a chance. So I guess he must have heard something again this year about people not liking his chances at NCAA's because he's been on a tear so far. So I guess it depends on what kind of bulletin board material he has tonight, whether or not he can beat
Yes.
Menso tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Minto.
Yeah, I like it.
But so this one, man, Danny Was. You know, I was this close to picking him because Colat's at Navy, right? And I'm like, man, he gets his people ready. And I was like, man, I had a feeling, but I was just like, nah, there's just a lot of other people out there. but he's wrestling awesome. I mean, he took it to Ruiz. Um, and then you got Camp Steve. And I think, you know, I I'm gonna go with Danny Wasp, right? I like his story. I like the fact that he's just hey, he's wrestling tough. He wrestled tough last year. Um, I don't think he all AA, but I don't really
He
remember.
did. He got eighth last year, so
Oh, he did the
barely,
eighth.
but he got eighth. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, he's wrestling tough. I think he's ready. I think he's ready to take that next step. So I like his little story that's going on right now. But yeah, what about you?
Yeah. So I said earlier that Lachlan McNeil is one of my dark horses that I was putting in my fantasy stuff. The other one was Danny Wask. And again, I don't think that's revolutionary. I think a lot of people had ideas that both of them could make a run. But I will say that I thought Wask was going to make his run on the backside. I didn't think he was going to beat Ruiz. But now that he has beaten him, you know, I say let's keep it going. So I like him over
Yeah,
Steed too. He's just got to watch out for that cradle because Steed does have a deadly cradle. That's how he got
yeah, I agree.
seconds in the second round today.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's move down
Now,
and see what kind of counties we got.
uh, my boy Lenny Pinto. Um, man, Rucker struggled today, man. I did not like it,
Well, we're
but
we're about to get to the two weights where they didn't struggle though, so you'll have something good to talk about.
yeah, nothing, nothing that shouts out at me. Um, as a must see in the first round. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that next round should be a little bit more interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
definitely. I think the only match that I see down here that kind of, I guess there's two that kind of pique my interest a little bit, Singleton and Pinto, but you never really know what Pinto is going to show up. Um,
right.
I heard someone say that he lost his power of the Minto Pinto connection with their rhyming names, and that's what's kind of taken him down a notch. And then Facundo Augustine. Augustine's kind of the
Yeah.
same though. Like sometimes he looks really, really good, and sometimes he doesn't. So we'll see what Augustine shows up tomorrow. But those are the only two that I could see, being really, really competitive. The rest is kind of what you would expect.
Yeah, I need Facundo to do something on the backside, man, for my draft or my the league purposes. Because but yeah, Augustine and him could be a really good match and could hurt a lot in my fantasy league.
Let's move on to 84. All right, so 84. First we got Rocco Welsh and Allred. I really like Allred, and as much as I would love to pick him over Welsh, I think Welsh had the best draw of anyone at this tournament.
Oh
He
my
just
god, the best draw.
like the fact that we'll get to the bottom side in a second, but the fact that Sinclair, McAnally, and
Ferrari.
Ferrari are all on the other side of the bracket is insane. So Rocco Welch, he honestly he's kind of boring sometimes, but he does what
Yeah.
he needs to do to win, and I think he'll do the same against Allred tomorrow in the quarter.
Yeah, he's got the easiest path to the semis that I've ever seen before. I mean, obviously he's earned it as the number one seed, but it's just man, like they when I say they got this weight class wrong, they got it wrong.
Yeah, it is crazy seating, but you wrestle the dude who's in front of you. So it ain't his
Yeah,
fault, and he's done his job so far, and I think he'll continue to do his job tomorrow.
yeah.
Down here, this could be a fireworks show.
Oh, I
Um,
agree.
you know, Obviously, you said Rutgers is, so all about Solano, and I just
Yep.
said about how I love the Catcherbone, the two Manzanonas because they're all kind of crazy. This is just like a time bomb of a match. Who knows what's
Yep.
going to happen? Um, Honestly, the way I see it is Soldano is probably going to come out and throw something crazy at Mantanona, and Mantanona is just going to like scramble out, and probably someone's getting pinned in the first period. And my bet is that Soldano's getting pinned. Um, I love him getting here, beating Dean, who actually ended up going 2-0. And then, beating Conway, who I think a lot of people thought shouldn't have been there from a smaller school. It would have been a cool story to get the Franklin and Marshall guy here.
Yeah.
But having, again, Soldano, Mantona, there's no real way to analyze it other than it's just like a ticking time bomb, and something's going to explode. Like, it's sort of like when Vincenzo and Imar would wrestle, and you just knew that someone was going to throw someone at some point in that match. But it's even more
Yeah.
of a sure thing with these two.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to do something crazy.
Yeah, I agree. I think that matchup is fireworks, and I'm excited to see that match tomorrow.
And then moving down here, we've got McAnally versus Knightenbach. So, I think obviously this I mentioned the four guys, and it's kind of always been a four coming into the year. Everyone knew it was going to be Welsh, McAnally, Sinclair, and Ferrari. So I think McAnally, he's just super solid. I mean, last year he had Parker Keckeisen dead to rights,
Yeah.
and Parker just like was way too savvy for him and threw some funk at him that he probably just had never seen in his life before to beat him. But in the waning seconds of the match, and I don't think it's going to be that close to Knightenbach. I will say that Jaden Bullock gave him actually a decent match in the second round. He held him to just a decision, so that was a good showing
Mhm.
from Bullock. But I got McAnally moving on here to the semis.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think he's on a mission. I think he's gonna do it. That semifinal match is gonna be really special to watch.
Yeah, because the other quarter we've got down. Well, honestly, whoever wins this is going to be special to watch. I think in the semis, but I think this is going to be so far. This is my favorite matchup of any quarter. Angelo Ferrari versus Sinclair. We'll get to see a rematch, and they're just it's just so it's nice because Sinclair is so offensive minded that he forces Ferrari to engage. So
Mhm.
obviously, a lot of people have said this year that Ferrari, when he drops to his knee and stalls, they say stalling, they hate it. Yeah, I think it was crazy at the Big Tens when you were watching it. Every time he dropped to his knee, the entire stadium started booing until he got off the knee. It's
Yeah.
like they had some sort of deal where they were all going to do it. But he is so positionally sound. The the Ferraris love him or hate him. They're really good at wrestling. But I just think that Sinclair, he's out here trying to prove something. Sinclair's going to come out firing. He's going to keep firing, and I think he's going to be just a little too much for Ferrari to handle. So I've got Sinclair moving on, and Sinclair and McAnally in the semis. I mean, if Sinclair can beat Angelo, then McAnally, then Rocco Welsh, that might be the best three
Run.
match in a row ever at nationals to win a title. And I'm hoping he does it.
I
I like Sinclair.
Yeah, that's definitely a good pick, right? That's Sinclair's only loss on the season, right? To Ferrari.
Yeah, I think he gets
So,
some
and
revenge
I
here.
yeah, and I was on tiebreakers if I remember correctly. And so, I think Aiden Sinclair does it. I think you're right. I think if he can make this run from the quarters to the finals, it's something special.
Yeah, I'm excited to see it hopefully unfold. And then when we move down to the consolations, we've got the one that sticks out to me is your boy right here, Rutgers, Connor
Yeah,
Walsh and Fishback. That should be a good match. Uh,
yeah,
I thought Fishback was wrestling pretty good, but honestly, his match with Mantanona kind of picked him apart tonight. So
yeah.
we'll see. That should be probably the best match of these consies, and hoping that Bullet can make some noise. Got to represent since he's from right around the corner, wrestling for Tech. But otherwise, I think that's about it for the constellations in the first round tomorrow.
Yeah. Hopefully Rutgers goes through.
Move on to 97.
Oh man. Josh Barr. Josh Barr is a man possessed on his. Talk about scoring points, right? Like he has 100% bonus rate all year. He's been just trucking guys. He's on another level at 97 than the majority of the weight class. And so, while I think Angel Posada is good, like I like watching him. Right, I saw the ACT final. I really liked and enjoy watching him wrestle. He's no match for Josh Barr. Um, Josh Josh Barr is going to pick him apart.
I agree. I think if you locked Josh Barr in a room with Mitchell Messenbrink and told them that they just have to wrestle forever, they would do it and probably never stop. Those dudes just have like unlimited gas. I don't know where it comes from, but
Yeah.
I agree. He's on a
Um,
different level than everyone this year. So
yeah. Okay, so this is definitely super interesting here, right? Colton Hawks. Well, actually, Joey Novak. Joey Novak wrestling awesome. Wyoming's having actually a really decent tournament. Um, and he looks primed to make a trip to the semis. But then you throw in Colton Hawks, and what a tournament he's having, right? Um, just beating Sonny
Mic off.
Sasso, beating Bennett Berge, right? Like no one gave him a chance against Sasso. Well, I mean, I think you called that one, right? That you said Sasso was probably seen
Mic
too
on.
high, but did you honestly think Colton Hawks was going to beat him though?
I didn't. No, I was telling you I thought that there was a chance that a four seed fell, and I thought that Sasso was the second biggest chance, but I didn't think he was
Right.
going to actually fall. Um, and especially because I'm kind of a tech homer, I really, didn't want to convince myself of it, but unfortunately it happened.
Yeah. So he's having a hell of a tournament, and Zeke Jones has gotten him ready, and I mean, I personally don't think he gets past Novak. It would be really awesome to see him keep continuing this Cinderella run, but I just think Novak happens. When you have like a great day in wrestling, like it's like last year when Dean Peterson beat Figueroa, right? He had the best day wrestling that day, right? He wrestled solid all day. Then he came back the next day, wrestled V Rob and didn't look like himself. I think that's what's happened to Colton Knox here, right? So he's having the best day of his life wrestling right now. But he's gonna go to sleep tomorrow. He's gonna make weight, and he's not gonna be ready for Joey Novak tomorrow.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost the same thing as like the semi slide, right? You're in the semis, you're all amped up, and then when you lose, it's just so hard to come back mentally. And kind of the same
Yeah,
thing here. Colton Hawks has been on a run, beat Sasso and then Berge, and he's just amped. The dude might not be able to even go to sleep tonight because he's so
yeah,
amped, which wouldn't help things either. So yeah, I agree. I think Novak pushes through tomorrow.
yeah. Um, Even Little versus Cam McDaniel. The Cam McDaniel, followed the Big Ten a lot, right? But Stephen Little is definitely, um, well, he was part of the three that I thought should have made, that break this weight class. But the three didn't make it all the way through, which we'll get to in a little bit. But I personally think Stephen Little beats Cam McDaniel here. Um, Cam McDaniel's a great wrestler. Uh, I wouldn't, like I said, I could see it going his way, but I just think Stephen Little gets it. I think he's a little bit more technical and just wrestles a good match, and he's just solid all the way through.
Yeah, I agree. I like Stephen Little here. I do like McDaniel a lot. I think he's, pretty solid, got some great fundamentals. But Stephen Little is just going to be a little too much for him to handle, and I think he'll push through.
Yeah. Oh man, we go by my boys at Rutgers. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So let's go. First, we'll go to Cody Merrill, right? Cody Merrill's wrestling in the Hell Tournament. Um, handled both the first two matches really well. Wrestled a really solid match against Maxed Out. Was his defense against Maxed Out shots were awesome. Talk about holding position. I thought he wrestled a great match there. Definitely worthy of being in the quarterfinals. I think he's great. Then you got my boy Remy Cotton. Um, no one. Well, Shane Sparks said that someone his friend had him beating Elam, but I gotta see it to believe it.
I
I
don't.
don't
Yeah, I
think
don't know if
anybody.
I believe that.
Yeah, I don't think anybody but Remy Cotton and Scott Goodell thought they had a shot yesterday or today. And tell you what, Remy Cotton stunned the nation today at 197, right? Everyone was like, man, I can't wait to watch Elam versus Bar. Elam versus Bar. Well, they're never going to see it. At least not here, not in this tournament. And Remy Khan's in the quarterfinals. I'm super happy for him. Uh, I really hope I am wrong with this pick, right? And I'm doing this on purpose. I am hoping that I'm super wrong and Remy Cotton wins. However, I think Cody Merrill punches his ticket to the semis tomorrow.
Yeah, I was really curious if you were going to go with Cotton there. Uh, Merrill is again, it's the year of the freshman, and he's one of those just like super fresh. Oklahoma State is so loaded with young talent, it's insane. And he just adds to it. Um, One of out from California, he had a great career out in high school. Again, he's getting better every single time he steps on the mat. So I like Cody Merrill here as well.
Yeah, yeah. Cody Merrill's solid. Wrestled for what was it? Clovis? No, Gilroy, right?
Yeah, he
Gilroy.
wrestled for Gilroy for DC.
Yeah. All right. So the backside. Rocky Elam. No one thought he was gonna be in the backside. I don't think he has a problem getting past John from Maryland, but never know, right? Geog Rademacher. That should be a good match. And then the winner of that gets Sasso. Um, yeah, so man, there's gonna be so many people that we thought were gonna be All Americans this year that aren't gonna be All Americans this year. This is wild.
Yeah, well, and like we were talking about earlier, when hopefully Gia gets past Rodemaker and Sasso gets past Lehman, and then I've got Giog and you've got Sasso in our fantasy, so one of us is going to be happy with that result, the other one not so much. But yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's this little
and
quad right here is definitely the one to watch. And honestly, Stout versus Elam should be a good match too, looking ahead around. But
then does the winner of that end up getting Posada?
I believe
So
so, yeah. So we'll just say here, and of course Giog's going to win. So yeah, they would get Posada.
yeah. Well played, well played.
All right,
Yeah,
let's
so
move on and finish up with the heavies, the heavy Chevys.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so first we got Younger and Ben Keeter. Ben Keeter, Mirasola. This was a pretty good match. These two guys, they match up real well. They always have interesting matches. Keeter ended up getting him with a late takedown today. Um, Either way, though, going into this, I think everyone kind of knew that Bastida was the one to beat. You got to beat Bastida here. I think he pushes through. He's just going to be a little too much to handle for Keeter. He's really dynamic offensively. He's improved on the mat tremendously. I just don't think Keeter's got what it takes to beat him.
Yeah, Bastida's the leader in the nation in tax.
I did not know that, but that doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, I saw that the other day and I was like, damn, like what is going on? But he's been putting up points. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that and then so that will be interesting there. I mean, he'll probably bonus Keeter, honestly. He's got to have a pretty good bonus rate too, I would imagine. Bastida.
Yeah.
Then we move down to Mora versus Ferrari. So Mora, another one of these Cinderella stories. He beat Braxton Amos. I think everyone was looking forward to seeing Amos versus Feldman. And then we didn't get it.
Yes.
And then we had Mora versus Feldman. I think everyone was kind of like, all right, well, now we're going to get Feldman versus Ferrari. Joke's on us again. We're not getting that either. I will say that, I texted you during the match and I said, I think Feldman's hurt. He was kind of limping around a little bit. I noticed in the first at one point he got like pushed out. He got hit with stalling, and he just looked super frustrated. Like he punched the mat. I don't know if maybe he's dealing with some kind of knee injury and it got tweaked there, and that's what caused that frustration.
Mhm.
But Moore is a big guy, and I think not at 100%. Feldman didn't have the strength to really do anything against him. But you know who is strong is AJ
Mr.
Ferrari.
Fast Twitch and Feld.
And he does like what a 1,200 pound deadlift now. It seems like it raises all the time. So, in in all honesty, he's actually been my pick coming into this tournament, even though I know he's taken some losses this year. But he looks like he's on a mission. I mean, he has been opening up offensively. He got through all last year and the beginning part of this year where he would get a takedown maybe, or just ride someone out in the second period, get the escape, and be okay there because he's so flexible and so good defensively. But he has just been. Did he get? Yeah, a tech and a major today. So he's
Hmm.
really been just opening up his offense, and it's been fun to watch because like I was saying about Angelo Ferrari, love or hate the Ferraris, they're really good at wrestling. And AJ definitely has done some stuff in the past to make some people, not his biggest fan. But I think he easily handles Mora here. I don't think there's any chance that Mora has enough to compete with that deadlift. So get Ferrari pushing through.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I don't think you need someone that's heavy and that can move like Ferrari to beat Ferrari.
Yeah, and it's just not Mora, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Moving down, we've got. Well,
My
I guess
boy.
he's sort of both of our boys because he's from.
Yeah, he's a V Tech.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
from Tech. So Tech moved over to Rutgers, a transplant. Uh, Hunter Katka versus Gadiali, who, you know, another one of these guys that transferred to Michigan and seems to have taken a step up. Transferred from Campbell. Um, I would love to take Katka, but I
Yeah, me
just
too.
can't. I just
Yeah.
can't. Gadiali has just been, on a tear this year. He uh, has had some close matches with some really good guys, but I mean he's been doing what he needs to do to win them. He's been more dynamic on his feet. He's been really tough on the mat, tough to hold down, tough to ride. And he's been putting on good rides. So really, he's been firing on all cylinders in every position. So I just got Gotti Ali pushing through, and I think he'll make the semis.
Yeah, I think ever since the national duels, he's been a much better wrestler. I think
Yeah.
he's had a rough start.
And then Doucette and Trumbull. This one could be a little interesting, but I really like Trumbull. Trumbull's got, he's really long and he presents some problems that uh, a lot of people don't present. And I think, Doucette's wrestling well. The Magic Man has really been
Mm.
doing some good stuff with Oklahoma State, but I don't think it's quite enough to get the nod with Doucette over Trumbull here. So I've got Trumbull getting to the semis. So I've got all chalk semis here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I think these guys are obviously the top four at this weight, and it's going to create some really awesome semifinals for heavyweight. And it's funny. It seems that heavyweight has been one of the more exciting weight classes once you get near the end. Last year's final might be the most exciting match I've ever watched.
Yeah.
So I think that'll continue once we get to the semis here. But I think Trumbull, takes care of Doucette, very workmanlike. I don't think he has much trouble, and I think he pushes through.
Yeah, I'm in agreement there. I think Trumbull gets past Doucette, just a seasoned veteran here, and yeah, like you said, it's going to be an exciting semis with the 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Move down and take a look at these constellations. Let's see, the biggest thing here, well, one that sticks out, of course, is Feldman and Taylor. Like I
Yeah.
was saying earlier, I think something is just telling me that Feldman's not right now. Hopefully,
Hmm.
he can maybe shake that off. But I think if he's not at 100%, he can't beat Taylor. So I think that will be an interesting one to watch. And then this quad right here, we've got 11, 12, 13, and 14, all sequential. I think these will all be some good close matches, and it'll be interesting to see who comes out from this pack.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's so wild to see people that you thought were sure are all Americans, right? We didn't know the exact place, but we're like, yeah, if I had to put money on it, I bet he'd be an All American. And they're not gonna make it tomorrow. And so it's definitely interesting.
Yeah, well, that's always, the fun of this tournament, and obviously we're this is the best time of year for wrestling fans. The 3-day tournament, really, we get some great wrestling, full Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all full of wrestling. So it's gonna shape up to be a really good finish to this tournament.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think it's gonna be an amazing weekend. And I'm excited for tomorrow. I know you are. And then yeah, I mean hopefully, you guys get a kick out of this little review of the second round and our what is it called? Previews of the quarterfinals tomorrow. And yeah, I mean it's been an awesome first Infinity Wrestling talk. What do you say, Horace?
Yeah, it's gone great. I think, we'll be back tomorrow with a day two recap, and we'll preview day three. And again, it's just exciting. It's a great time of year, and love being able to talk about it. And hope you guys got some um, good listening from it.
Yeah, for sure.
Like I said, this bracket, this is a pretty cool bracket software that found this website from Cactus Wrestling actually. So I'll link this in the description, and if you like and you want to see more from us, be sure to like and subscribe. But until next time,
Yeah, definitely. Till next time.
see ya.